Go with Lee Sin. I actually really like this a lot. He's actually going to be really good to add mobility, and especially that kick is great to bring a lot of breathing space to the team. So I think exactly. So I think that here the Lee Sin as a jungler, he's got power spike early, mid, late game. He's good at basically any stage of the game. I think he's one of the best.
He can actually very straight and start really pressuring with these objectives and calling Fastpay to come into them to fight.
Well, so yes, now we're going to be making it into our second game of the series. Let me just put the music lower. Boom, music is now gone. See you later, Alligator. It was fun having you on the show, but we'll have music later on. Now, a little bit of a regroup potentially coming out from the side of Wildcats as they're going to be looking for a little bit of deep vision. I do believe Cats is going to do exactly that. Potentially some vision in the tri-bush, spot out, making sure that they're not going to get deep dived early on in the game, which I think makes a lot of sense because Lee Sin can be a pain level 2 to level 3, so you want to make sure you keep track of how they roam around this jungle. So far, very similar. We are seeing, though, I think we're going to have a double lane swap coming on through. I think we're going to have the two duos of bot side actually going top, and you already have the Kennen and Darius in the bottom side. So you're not going to have a lot of cross-mapping happening in this one unless they go for cross-mapping after their very first shot backport, which could be happening very soon. We might see an early back because they want to go for a little bit of cross-mapping. But seemed like because of how things are happening, I wouldn't be surprised to see them revert to their default locations purely based on the Drake being on the bottom side, and you want to have that duo ready for that Drake later on.
But the strength is going to come out from this Malphite, and the poke is going to come out from him alongside a Misfortune. Is going to be immense against this Xayah. You talked about when a Xayah early game isn't as far ahead as she was in game number 1. That's when she might start struggling with the burst damage early on. And you see them now being zoned out the lane, as it will just be Futbolist to try to create that ever so slight XP gold advantage lead, with even Lee Sin looking for that gank early on.
Or even Corki, he's looking for it. I mean, they're going to go for Scuttle. I don't know if they have the intention of going any further. Seem like no, they're just going to bully that Scuttle into oblivion and revert back to mid, because they know that because of the double, that really shows that they were ready to go for some cross mapping if possible, but because there was a double 2v2 in the top side, is not going to allow that to happen. But Wukong actually going for sneak invade, and Darius is actually going to be joining up on that one, so this is not a good spot to be in for Swiss. Gonna go diving forward, maybe not the best idea. Gonna be forced to flash away to safety while that blue buff is actually going really low. Who's gonna be taking it? It's gonna be actually no PC. Wait, is it no PC or actually working? I'm not even sure, but one of those guys got it. Gonna have to flash away, dodge it last second. He is gonna be burning. Maybe flash forward coming out from the Kennen. Is gonna get it? Yes, he does. And Wildcats lose their Wukong first blood. Gonna weigh off Futbolist.
And that is crucial for Futbolists now to be able to extend that into a slight lead, a slight advantage going in. They've been pressuring now Gandalf in this mid lane. You see the roam come out from this Malphite, looking to try and make anything happen. But also keep in mind the Alistar roam down as well. So we're going to have to reset, shake hands, come back to the top side with this Misfortune and this Xayah, and wait for a little bit until that first objective, which you mentioned, comes up.
Yeah, Alpa's taking a lot of damage. I gotta say, though, Xayah early game still does a lot of damage. She is very vulnerable, but if you don't allow her to line up those feathers and get the Blade Caller, that is going to be a little bit dicey. Malphite goes for the engage. Pulverized Headbutt Wombo combo connects. Nothing too scary. Oh, man, he's right behind all those feathers. Oh, I thought that was going to come out from Kate for a second, but he's going to be keeping them for a little while longer, and Pigas will be able to move away from that position. It was a little bit scary for a few seconds, but he's going to be good. But at least really good response coming out from Futbolist, because game 1, they were already at a disadvantage 3 minutes into the game of about 2,000 to 3,000. Now we're chilling. Now it's 1,000 gold currently in their favor, and they're looking amazing. Going for the knock-up onto the Malphite once more. Flanked on by doing those engages so repeatedly and so often. He's taking quite a bit of damage. Now down to 50% HP. He's got to be a little bit careful of when he decides to go for that, because they're not winning those trades, actually.
Yeah, he didn't bring his feathers back because Xayah could have been then engaged by the 2 level 5s of that Misfortune, by also that Malphite. And without that Alistar being able, with the Unbreakable Will, being able to then tank up all that damage that potentially come out from the Malphite and Unstoppable Force from that Misfortune, bullet time back could have been then swung back in the favor of Futbolist. But with pressure being now put out, with the fact that Malphite backed off, you see now Misfortune in a little bit of danger herself. She has to now stay back. And with this dragging up, yes, she has to stay back and answer this top lane, but because of that Wukong on top, they see that there's no jungle to contest. They're able to pick up that clean first Drake. in a little bit unfortunate there in terms of map awareness, not realizing that Malphite could have just gone bot side and taken that kill.
Oh, it's going to go front to Elpis. Great barrier from it. Oh my god, he's going to get the frag. Oh, Canoplis, the minions get it. Oh, that is such a feels bad, man. Canoplis out of the picture. And this is actually such a big win from Futbolist. I think that overall, you said it was map awareness. There was maybe a little bit lacking from the Wildcats. I disagree a little bit on that. I think that they knew the Drake was coming up and they were going to give it away because it's not an Infernal Drake. So they were like, okay, we can do it, but we can give it away, but we need to get gold from the towers on top, which is exactly what they did. But unfortunately, now they also lose the mid turret and the bottom turret. They're losing way too much for a simple Drake.
Because this comes through from the speed buff from that ulti cooldown that's going to come with that Cloud Drake Marksman. And they're going to be able to roam around that map quite even more faster than what they already were doing before. Combine that with the speed of a Lee Sin, combine that with the scary engage with Ken and a Malphite only going to come at you even quicker now. That is why I'm a little bit concerned the fact that they gave that Drake up.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to what Wildcats was really thinking there. What was the play? What was the plan? It's only a 2,000 gold lead, though. Nothing substantial. Futbolists are still good to go. You know, Wildcats could be looking to make something happen, especially with their type of composition. A sick wombo combo on the Asio could be the turning point of this one. As they're waiting for Rekna, the tower's already down to 50% HP. Going to get the slow. No PC. Looking for the engaged. Sweeper engaged. But nothing will come out of it just yet. But they're looking for the towers. They want to try and get back in a leading position in terms of gold. But Herald in the top side, they know they've put such a big focus on these towers. Alistar going to go for the dive on forward, but unfortunately his team is just not there follow-up. Where's the communication? Where's the synergy from Wildcats? It is missing, but finally they're there. Pick up the kill onto that Misfortune. Going to put their focus on Rekna. Wildcats is going to be split. Got to be careful. Going to go for the Blaze. Coming on through. He's going to go for the recall. Not yet. The Rekna is going to be oh my god, he's able to find one. That should not be allowed. That is taken out of context. As Canoplis going to have to move away from that spot also. But yeah, I mean, sure, I guess Wildcats win that, but that was such a weird engage from them.
Wildcats win that because they get the objective here, Maxman, on that Rift Herald, and they actually bring one kill on Desire with that Corki, make it only a 2-for-1 trade, and they still keep that slight advantage in the gold lead up. They still keep now the objective lead up over the side of fast play Wildcats, and this is what we talked about going into game 2. Footballers need to reset. They need to bring a composition that works and pressures over these objectives, which was the reason why they lost so evidently even come to the late game with their composition. And with the Malphite, the Cannon, with even the Lee Sin roaming in the early game, they're able to now fix these mistakes and match for number 1.
I just wanted to see the big wombo combo with Gandalf on the Alistar and also with the Wukong. We haven't seen a very impactful one as of yet. I don't think we've just seen one in general as of right now, so hopefully that'll be the next thing to come up very soon. Big Ass got to be careful, can't quite clear the ward, very unfortunately for him, so that's going to be an extra 50-second of vision in that bush that they can't deal with. There's going to be an Ocean Drake coming up very soon, and Wildcats, you can see by how they're roaming, they want to find those one-play opportunities. Lee Sin, how did he not see that? Instantly ulted into the air, he's going to get exhausted, will go down to the spinny winny of the Wukong. And now they're under tower. Kennen pops the ulti, going to get some nice CC onto Flankton. Flankton will get the Unbreakable Wheel, able to soak up all those tower shots. And now it's time to go for the dunks, and that's going to be an easy double frag for the Yasuo. That was a way better engage, but unfortunately the lack of vision off Futbolist is really hurting them. No PC, if you survive this, I'll be genuinely surprised, and he does go down, as Rekna will just keep them at bay for the time being, but the tower will fall eventually.
Yeah, they buy the time that they needed for the rest of Fast Play Wildcats to take that first turret, and that opens now up the map a little bit, coming towards this Ocean Drake as well. You saw them multiple times diving, looking for those bottom picks. They finally grabbed that up, but the objective is now with the call to pour back. The respawn come through for Footballers. Going to be that second Drake. The Ocean Drake now going to come through for them, and with that overtime healing as well, you can start to see the different buffs going to start to stack in favor of these buys for Futbolist, and might start being a little bit scary here, Max, for now. Fast play Wildcats doing what Futbolists did that were the fault of them in game number 1, giving away these objectives.
There's one thing that's lucky for the side of Wildcats. They're the 2 least impactful Drakes. They're still good ones, don't get me wrong. They're still good, but it's not Infernal. And that is still giving them an opportunity to take these fights on an equal standing. At least closely. It's just that mobility and the map presence is going to be a little bit harder to deal with, but nothing a good macro can't deal with whatsoever. So, Malphite on the front line. He's got that ultimate ready to go anytime. And I might be expecting a tower dive coming on through. But Wildcats in the bottom side as a two-man. Gandalf, no PC, going to go for that. And now he's going to be forcing a big old recall from one of the players. The Kennen going to be also popping. The Herald in the top side. They really want that tower. And they will be able to find it without even no HP taken and tanked away by the Herald. So they're going to keep on pushing. But that is a good idea from the start coming out from the side of Wildcats. But they went as a two-man, which in my opinion was a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah, you see that Riftel's going to be used to now pressure over that topside control. They do efficiently take it out, and it won't be such a detrimental Herald ban in that first match. But the resets will come through, and I want to use this time now to talk about the builds as well and talk about potential for this Kennen to be able to output the damage. An interesting build from him. He's not gone over to Leandries this time. He's gone for the Infinity Orb, gone for extra movement speed that it does provide, as well as that ability power and the magic penetration. Combine that with the Rabadon's Death Cap, but you see him with those two needlessly large rods going to go towards, is going to be quite a scary chunk of damage that could come out from this Kennen alongside that Malphite come through, particularly as we mentioned that Infinity Orb for its magic penetration.
He is very healthy in terms of gold, so he's going to be really happy of this game overall. I think he's really enjoying himself. One champion does not really enjoy himself right now, I would have to say mainly, is this this Wukong. He is pretty far behind compared to, well, not really heavily behind, but he is slowly making his way down there compared to the Lee Sin. And I think the Wukong that falls behind is still a champion that in his own regard is really strong. So it's really, it's not that bad coming out from the side of Wildcats, because as long as he's able to hit that initiation onto the Cyclone, maybe hit the Cyclone twice and just stay alive for a little bit longer with that Golden Staff, it will make things pretty dicey for him. There you go. Instant Dragon's Kit from Swiss. Going to try his best to survive that encounter. Instant knock-up onto the Cyclone. But there's just too much CC, and they are going to be finding that unwearing soul that was the Lee Sin initially. Now no PC. Going to have to use that to make his way back. Though Regner is feeling really confident. Good win will block a lot of that damage. Get himself the nice knock-up through the tower. But that is not going to be a flash available for Regner next time. And Flankton completely out of position. Might go down. He does have the Unbreakable Will, so he's taking very minimal damage. Good Malphite engage into the bullet time. The damage is not going to be taken too heavily by this. Like great Blade Caller from Nexa. Katza going to be trying his best. He's going to be trying to peel his way backwards, but the GA is still up for Elpis, so he can afford to take this fight aggressively, and Flankton will die eventually in that engage, and he does fall to his knees as Yasuo now in a 1v2 situation, taking some really big damage, but he will receive even more, as that's going to be making it now 8-8. And this is slowly making his way to a very close game, but no, Katse's not looking, and that's going to be a great engage from Elpis, find himself another frag for his team.
That slicing Maelstrom from that Kennen combined towards the end of the Lightning Rush to be able to then save that Corki from his death is the reason now why they have so much pressure over this Baron here now, particularly Max Manning. You see that a Wukong trying to contest. They should have actually contested instead. Maybe that Mountain Drake, because he's going for it, but Smite's too early, and it goes through over in favor for the side of Red and for the side of Futbolist.
Yep, Lee Sin able to smite it. It was very low HP, about 100 HP, so that could have been a snatch away. But now it's going to be very important for Futbolist to survive. If they die, that Baron buff is going to be wasted. Twist, picking up some speed, will be able to make it out alive. So actually owning the Kennen dies. A 4-man Baron buff, plus a kill on the Wukong. I'm going to say that is hella worth it for them, Highland.
It is hella worth it, because they're also going to be able to get this Mountain Drake here with the pressure that they are going to be able to exert through those Baron buff minions. And now it is a completely different game for Futbolists. They are exerting the pressure. Their fast-paced Wildcats were putting onto them in game number one. Their composition has just, albeit credit to them, worked so much better than the composition coming out from the fast-paced Wildcats, who haven't been allowed to engage because of the fact that Kennen stops the engage from them, and the fact that a Malphite combined with the Kennen is an engage for themselves on its own.
Pushing mid a little bit from Rekner, looking to maybe shove that wave under tower. It's going to get picked up easily, though, by Katse. I gotta say, it's weird now. Spectating completely zoomed out. I realized that I really need to get some glasses. My vision is not all that good. Sometimes I'm struggling. So I'm going to get a meeting for my eye very soon, actually, on the 29th. So Might have to get myself some glasses so I can cast properly and get all these names, though. Be careful, Rekner's going to have to move away and jump out from that spot. It's going to be very slippery as always, but Lee Sin in the bottom side also. I think this is a great champion to use for for Wildcats. So without him, they can't really afford to engage.
Yeah, I don't know why they didn't send the Darius down to the boss side. It would have made a lot more sense. It would have been a lot more threatening to have the Yasuo with the two-man combination and the Yokop, with the Alistar, with also keep in mind that Wukong potentially engaged. With that Baron buff coming off, they could have maybe had something in their favor to happen, but now the pressure just continuing to be exerted from Futbolist. But Darius, they're looking for engage. It won't be able to find a pull in, and the disengage when he comes out, and it is taking everything from the side of fast-paced Wildcats.
This is actually really clean from Futbolist. They just don't want to throw the game away. They're like, okay, we're currently in the leading position, but we're just going to be going step by step. And now the next Drake being an Infernal one, this could be a very big opportunity for the Wildcats to make a comeback happen. If they win a kill or two, which they have been doing quite a few times in the bottom side of the map, they do that again, force a fight towards the Infernal Drake, and that's something that, you know, Futbolist or the Wildcats are going to want to contest. If you give it away for free, Infernal, especially in the soul form, is going to be very, very hard to deal with. So I think that this is maybe the opportunity Wildcats have been waiting for, to wait for that Drake to spawn and play around it to the best of their potential. They need to find some kills, though, like, very soon. If they don't pick up a kill soon, before that Drake actually spawns up, that's where things are going to be a little bit dicey. So I would say that would be a good opportunity for Wildcats to make things happen. But I think that now the lead is quickly going in favor of Futbolist. You're currently up at a 6 to about 7,000 gold lead right now. This is something that is starting to get very scary for Wildcats, so they need a game plan right now if they want to have a chance of making this game happen.
Yasuo is going to be the game plan that they need to turn on finally in this game, because you see the Midas now split away Futbolist, but that Malphite too scary with the pressure from that Misfortune to zone away. They're actually going to be contesting a second now Baron, and the second Baron going to be even stronger than the first because of the nature of how this works in this game, that they now need to really get this steal off where it might be curtains.
Way too late on that teleport from the Yasuo, though. We're going to go for the engage. Yasuo, oh my god, he only gets him one. That's not going to be enough. The Lee Sin gets himself the Baron buff. Bullet Time is going to be doing so much work onto the players of Wildcats. Though, time to decimate down for this Darius. He gets the GA popped. Sure, that's great. But is he going to get any more? Swiss might just bleed out because of his wounds. He's going to go for the last second re-engage. And yeah, that is going to be it. Futbolist able to survive as a 5-man crew. Lose himself Elpis last second. But that is still going to be a fat win. Initially, that was so good, but the GAs... Man, the GAs are too powerful in this meta.
GAs too strong, but also the damage in the CC lockdown was too strong there for him to contest. Just too much CC in the favor. They don't even need the Infernal Drake. They finished the game before it even spawns into the Rift Max, man. And Futbolist strike back in game number.
Farthest 1-to-1 in this series between Futbolist and Wildcats. So we've got to try and set up our draft for game number 3. But man, first game, going to a good third one. I'm